Hi there. Are you broke but you want to be in business? In this video, I want to talk about 7 unique business ideas for broke people to be able to make money. Yes, you don't need to have insane amount of money for you to be able to make money. And I'm saying so because there are people out here, for example, have smartphones, maybe have space in their homes, etc., and they are broke. At the end of the day, you need to use what you have for you to be able to make money. And these are the amazing ideas I want to discuss with you. You are all much welcomed to the Money Daily TV. My name is Afagza Sifuna. If you are new here, remember to subscribe, and also you're still at it, drop a like on this video. Having said that, assuming for example you are staying at your own place, maybe you have a big balcony, maybe you have a space outside where you live, the very first idea which you could look to implement is the idea of microgreen farming. Basically, you farming those microgreens, key nutrients packed in plants, from maybe your balcony or even space outside your house. And these typically grow very fast, okay? And they require very minimum space. And at the end of it, you can be able to even have something to sell to people out there in less than 1 month time. It just begins with an initiative. You could jump into microgreens and then you're going to be able to make money. And then the second business idea which you could jump onto is the idea of you doing virtual events hosting, even virtual DJing, you name it. I think the COVID pandemic taught us many things that actually people could sit in their house and be comfortable in their spaces. They could sit in their house the entire weekend. And even up to now, a good chunk of people like spending time indoors. That means that you can easily get bored inside their houses. That's why you can utilize the power of the internet. These people could be watching you on TV, could subscribe to your particular website, and you're going to be able to entertain them because you're going to be holding virtual events. It could be a simple thing as, for example, a DJ session, maybe virtual barbecue party, you name it, any virtual event, and people need to pay to be part of that particular event. I've seen a good number of people out here create digital followings anchored on events. You can think about a unique event area, most of other entertainment, which can really assist people deviate from their day-to-day stress, and be sure you can be able to actually make amazing amount of money online over time. And then the third business idea, which you can start with no money, is the idea of you doing mobile phone photography. Yes, you could be sitting there, for example, and you have a very powerful mobile phone. Maybe even captures, for example, 4K, 8K. You'll be shocked as to a number of people out there whose mobile phones can't capture amazing pictures. You could even just go outside there on the street where you live and establish a port whereby you are rendering these photography services. And you can actually use your mobile phone. You'd be amazed that there are some people out there who would be willing to pay you just for you to capture them using your mobile phone in the quality which they don't have. Because a good chunk of people out there don't have awesome cameras on their phone. You can utilize your 4K camera, 8K camera to be able to do mobile phone photography. And actually, what is more interesting is that you can even merge this with also you doing stock imaging. What do I mean? Out here, the demand for stock photos is very high. Websites out there, like, for example, iStock, Pixel, you name it. All these websites rely on those freelancers who upload stock photos. Of course, there is a revenue sharing mechanism between the website and also these freelancers. But at the end of the day, is that particular freelancer who has a huge stock of images, whose images are in demand that end up getting paid awesome amount of money. And personally, I know, for example, someone who earns upwards of 2,000 US dollars each and every year from just passively doing those stock photograph businesses. Okay. And then, guys, the fourth idea, which you could look to jump onto for you to be able to make money, is you upcycling furniture and flipping using pellets. Guys, An interesting thing I observed out here is that there is demand for those kind of like rustic furniture, old looking furniture. They seem like they look bad, but then again, with just a little touch of facelifting using different pellets, it can give it a very unique taste. And these are items actually which even in some of the stores out there go for premium amounts of money. If you're passionate, why not use pellets to uplift some of these furnitures out there which will else be discarded? And think about how you can pump them back into the market and sell it to people. Because people are looking for these furnitures out there, not to use them, but to have them in their spaces as a reminder of the old good times, a reminder of this rustic nature of furniture and also other old items. Look for these old items and you can be in big business. Of course, you can start by, for example, selling your own, and even in no time, you could start flipping, buying old items from people, rebranding them, and then selling them into the market as these amazing items which are rustic that people are looking for. Okay? And then the fifth business which you can start with no money is the business of you running errands. Yes, guys, you'll be shocked as to how a good chunk of people out there are looking for a reliable person to assist them run errands. Maybe someone is very busy, but they don't have money to hire a full-time personal assistant. You could be their trusted person who they go to in case they need someone to run errands for them. You might just be that person because in a day, if for example, you just get 3 gigs for you to run errands, you can easily make even upwards of 3,000 Kenya shillings from you running errands. And by the way, this is the kind of business which doesn't require for you to have upfront capital. Doesn't require for you, for example, to put your money at risk. It just needs for you to be presentable, have good communication skills, and then the rest of the things out there are going to come by themselves. Of course, you need to be very trustworthy because if you're running errands for people out there, you want them to trust you. You want them to refer you to other people out there who are also looking for people to run errands for them. So ensure you are very trustworthy and be sure you can start with one person, two people, three, and then over time, you're going to have a pool of clients who you run errands for. Okay? And then the sixth business idea which you can run when you are broke is the idea of you making handmade jewelry and crafts. Guys, the demand of making jewelry out here is very high because people out here want to look amazing. So if you have a keen eye for details, you know, for example, how to get beads and other things which go into making different crafts or even so making jewelry, why not take a stab at it? You might just be out there in your passive time at extremely low amount of money. You can be out there getting the ingredients or the items you require for you to even make earrings, for you to make beads, necklaces, you name it. Of course, for this, it calls for you to be passionate because you're going to spend some time for you to make these amazing handmade crafts. But then be sure once you click your workflow, then you can be able to make insane amounts of money. And then the seventh and last idea I want to talk to you about is the idea of you doing online tutoring or coaching. You might be broke, but you are not broke when it comes to having skills. Maybe you know a given unique language, maybe you know multiple languages, maybe you know you have specialized information maybe around financial literacy, around coding. Why not convert that what you know to be able to give you money? Of course, for this, you need to tap into different social media platforms out there. Look at free gigs websites out there, for example, Fiverr, Upwork, etc., and think about how you can push these skills of yours to potential buyers. You can even use, for example, these video conference platforms out there, for example, Zoom, for you to even organize lessons for a group of small people, and each of them can pay you a little amount of money for you to teach them your unique skills and structure lessons very well so that you teach them lessons, maybe a given number of lessons for them to understand and even refer you to other people out there who are also looking to learn a particular unique skill which you have. Guys, what do you think about these ideas? Do you think these are ideas which a broke person can run with? Share other ideas which you have in your mind in the comment section below. Let's continue discussing. Cheers and you all stay safe.